Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from, and welcome to the day 2 of Financial Freedom Masterclass. Today is an awesome day, I must tell you. So if you're a member of the tribe, today is your bonus session, and so it would be nice. And any of you who are joining me right now, introduce yourselves and let us know where you're joining from, and also let's make sure we remind our fellow colleagues in the tribe to join in. My name is Oladipupo Clement, and I'm the host of the Financial Freedom Masterclass. Every month, we try to do one very special edition of the Financial Freedom Masterclass, which is bringing people with real life experiences who have results, who are not just theoreticians, to come share with us. And so everybody in the tribe at this moment have gone through the Financial Freedom Masterclass. But this bonus session is just to keep us updated and also give us the opportunity to ask important questions as it relates to creating wealth, legitimately, of course. And so it gives me great delight and great honor to be hosting my dear friend, Wizard Ezekiel. He's a billionaire and he's got some very amazing, I call him Sawizi because he's a wise man. And some other people call him wise man, and truly he is. He operates in the frequency of wisdom that is far above his age. And if you engage him in conversation, you see the dimensions, you see the raw practicality of wisdom. You see the practicality of wisdom when you engage him. And so it's my greatest delight today to be bringing him up stage. So he will be coming up on the dot of 11. So wherever you may be joining us from, I want to encourage that right now introduce yourselves, and then let's get everyone on the tribe to join us right now. You will be missing out a lot if you don't take advantage of this. This is very, very crucial, very, very important. All right. So it's the Financial Freedom Masterclass, and of course, this is the virtual edition. And so I'm expecting you to introduce yourselves. Let me know where you're joining from. Those of you who started your classes yesterday, it would be nice to hear your voice as well. At least see your message, right? We didn't wrap up until about past 8 yesterday, and it was a very good time we had yesterday, awesome time. And in the history of this platform, we had more women than men attend this Financial Freedom Masterclass, this edition. And so I'm very excited about it. And I'm glad for what is coming. All right. So he will share with us today on Wisdom for Wealth. How has he done it? How did he do it? And then we'll be asking him a couple of questions, right? So get your questions ready just in case you've been pondering on how are these people doing it? How do these guys do this thing? All right. Sometimes wealth appears to be mystery, and that's why only a few people, know it. But if you have opportunity to engage people who have done it, who have been there, then it gives you that same access. It's possible to replicate or even do better than whatever it is that we have even done. Yes, the truth of the matter is we are able to see further because we stand on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead. It doesn't mean we are in any way smarter than any other people or other people. It only means that we came in contact with some dimension of wisdom and information that many people are not yet aware of. And that's what gives you leverage in life, right? So I'm expecting your comments. I'm expecting to see that we are all in the room before I bring up my special guest. So he'll be coming up on the dot of 11. I'm not sure if he's online right now, but he's supposed to be online within the next 5 minutes. So please introduce yourselves. Let's know where you're joining from. So Bukola, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining this morning. Thank you. Joining all the way from Surulere. Awesome. Awesome. Right. Who else is in the house? Can we see? Can you please introduce yourselves? And of course, after 45 minutes of his engagement with us, we would have the opportunity to to ask him questions. So he has a total of 1 hour with us. And then once he's done, we'll dive into the Zoom, and then have our own engagement for another 1 hour or so. Right. So that's about that. We're not reading profiles, so please don't ask me what's this profile and everything. If you want to see his profile, just go to wisdomezekiel.org, right, and then find out a bit more about him. But an amazing gentleman, amazing guy. I must tell you, amazing guy. All right. Those of you who signed up for the September edition, I want to especially encourage that. I'll confirm if you have already completed, filled up the financial intelligence test. And those of you who have been in the tribe, it's not out of place also to do that again. You know why? You are trying to monitor your progress, which means just like if you never run a test, there's no way you will know whether you have high blood pressure. And then if after you ran the test and they confirm to you from the test that you have high blood pressure, there are things you need to change. So if you have made those changes, you want to also monitor to find out whether or not there has been a change in that result. And that's essentially what this is about too. So financial intelligence test is not something you just take once and for all, and then you don't take again. You take it like a diagnosis. It's something you do to measure your progress, right? It's your own personal diagnosis. And as a matter of fact, if you are to administer financial prescriptions to anyone, I recommend that you use the same template, all right, to engage people. The same template, use it to engage people to find out how are they doing it, all right, to find out their financial state, where they are regarding their financial state. Like we've shared before, we have 5 levels in financial freedom. The first level is financial crisis, and there are a lot of people, many Nigerians, more than 100 million Nigerians, that's where they are. So, and then we have financial instability, and there are quite a lot of Nigerians also who are at that level. What is that take home is not taking them home, all right? So then we of course also have financial stability. At this level, you are fairly comfortable. I mean, you still have some degree of some comfort, right? So that's financial stability, but that's not the height. So if you are financially stable, it means that there's some degree of equilibrium between what is coming in and what's going out. So you are able to meet your own personal, meet your family needs. But that's not the ultimate purpose of our existence. Our purpose, our ultimate purpose for existence is really to reach out to more people and to be able to impact our world, right? So if it's all about what you will eat, what you will drink, then that's not height of fulfillment. And so the next layer, which is the 4th level in that journey, is financial independence. Financial independence, of course, is at that point, the proceed from your investment, from your asset, is capable of meeting your needs, meeting that of your family needs and all of that. But that's not the height of it, right? If you're able to put food on your table, whether you work or not, that's not the height of it still. There's still a greater level. And at that point, it's called financial freedom. At this point, the proceeds from your investment is not only able to take care of your needs without you having to work another day, but it's also able to reach out and impact many more lives. And that's pretty much what it is. And that's what we're trying to do on this platform. So please, if Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel is on the line, please let's bring him up online so that we can have a bit of engagement before we launch by 11. Okay. All right, so I'm expecting to see others. So who else is watching? Where are you joining us from? Expecting to see others. All right, 6 people are watching right now. So, but where are you joining from? Let's know where you're joining from before we bring in our guests. Okay. All right, so just 1 minute. I'll be back shortly. Okay. So, all right, guys, you'll be joining us shortly. So let's get our notes ready. Um, get our papers ready for the wisdom for wealth. Okay. All right. So, are we ready? Mm, 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 I apologize. It might be a technical issue, so please let's exercise a little patience um, before it joins us. Apologies, please. It can only get better. Okay, so please exercise a little patience. Let me follow up also one more time. All right, so Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel is in the house very shortly. He'll be coming up. So let's get ready. Let's get ready to shoot. Can you please bring him up? He's in the house, please. The back end guys, can we bring him up quickly? Yes. Sir Wizzy of God.
Well done, sir.
Good to have you here. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And we are very, very, very delighted and expectant for the massive thing that is about to shift in our lives. And so, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on YouTube, I'm very, very excited about what we're having this morning because, like I said with us, every member of the tribe, the agenda is that every month we bring in, specialists, we bring in people who have results to join us and share their experiences. And so it's our great delight today to be bringing upstage Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel. Is a billionaire, so he would not want me to say that, announce that one, but he's a multi-billionaire. So we want to ask him, what's the wisdom for that billions? So that's what we want to share with us today. So wisdom for wealth. That's what he's sharing with us today. So everyone who is member of the tribe, today is your own bonus session. And those of you who joined the Financial Freedom Masterclass since yesterday, this is also a bonus session. So I welcome you all to, and let's receive Mr. Wisdom Ahamefula Ezekiel. So thank you, Mr. Wisdom. Over to you now.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to believe that everybody can hear me.
Absolutely. So we can hear you at the back end on YouTube. So we are streaming on YouTube right now, and only members of the tribe can see it. Yes. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here. Then thank you to my brother from Anda Mother, Dr. Clement Oladipo.
Can you imagine? You added doctor.
It's been a wonderful journey together with Dr. Clement. Many of you don't know he's a doctor. He used to hide the doctorate dimension. Sorry for exposing that anyway. Now, it's been a wonderful journey of passion. It's been a wonderful journey of togetherness, of teamwork, of vision, coming together with such visionary. I'm very delighted to have him as my friend, have him as a brother, have him as somebody that I can always relate to, in many things. I can talk to him about financial matters, about business matters, about family matters, and we bond very well. And what he's doing is so wonderful that I just want to be a part of it. And we've come a long way. Thank you very much for what you do, sir.
Thank you so much.
You are a rare. Do we call it a rare gen or a rare leader or a rare? Let me use the word that will make people laugh a little. A rare somebody. You're a rare somebody. I really appreciate you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
All right. I can't really see the people I'm talking to, but I know they are listening to me and they are watching.
Yes, they are listening to you. So what will happen? I'll be going off air right now.
Okay.
So we'll be watching you from behind this screen. So on the dot of 10:45, I will come on. I'll come on again, and then we'll ask you questions based on what people drop.
That's 11:45.
Yes. No. 10:45. Yes,
so
11:45. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is
11:45. Yes. 11:45.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm to speak on the subject wisdom for wealth, and my name is Wisdom, and it's natural that I talk about wisdom because that's what I've exemplified growing up. Growing up, I never had an opportunity to succeed. People never gave me that chance. I was one person that, if you ask many of the people that were around me when I was just a teenager, they will say that this guy may not really succeed because everything around me was working contrary to the principle of success. I had desires to succeed. I had things around me that challenged me to succeed, and I was moving to that direction of success. But in most cases, it was more like when there is no education, when there is no uncle somewhere, when there is no brother somewhere who will be a part of your success story, it becomes very difficult for people to even give you a chance that this can be something. Now, eventually, right about now, by God's grace, we run a multi-billion naira company that is employing people in their hundreds. There was someone who saw me 2 years ago. He came to my office, and that was my old office. And when he entered my office, he started shouting. He was shouting, "Afam," because that's what they called me then. "Afam, Afam, Afam," and he was just shouting. And they were like telling him that, "Please, sir, this is an office environment. You have to be calm." And the guy said, "I can't be calm. You don't know who this guy is. You don't know who this guy is. Do you know where this guy is coming from?" And he was just talking, "Afam, Afam." That expression helped me to understand that they never thought in their wildest imagination that this young Igbo boy that came from the village to Lagos to come and hustle will ever become anything to write home about. Now, for many of us who are listening to me right now, people may not have given you the chance. People may not have even thought that you become anything. But I want to tell you, it's not about what people think. It's about what you think. It's about who you think you are. It's about the kind of decisions you are making on a daily basis. It's about you, not about them. It's about your destiny, not about their destiny. It's about your own vision, not about their vision. So you need to come to that realization where you sit put and say, "Look, I am resolute about this thing. I am going to succeed beyond measure." And that's why we're discussing wisdom for wealth. Because all my life, I never really had good education. When you talk about good education, I never had one. Because at the age of 13, I was already in Lagos hustling. I started selling electrical parts at the age of 13. I left to go back to school later on. But when you talk about education, it wasn't the success story of my life. It's not because of I went to one school. If you are mentioning all the universities that many people attended to, I probably will not be able to mention any reputable one. Now, what made me successful is wisdom. And I can tell you the fact that wisdom is one of the fastest way to get things done. And I have done this over the years. Since I have discovered that wisdom is my strength, and that's even my name, I decided to become more like a practitioner of wisdom. Now, I want to let you know there are three kinds of people in the world. Number one, there are intellectuals, people who are very articulate. When they talk intellectually. When you hear them in the way they display knowledge in their thoughts, in the way they write, in the way they speak, in the books that they have written, when they even speak, when they talk in public, you can know that these persons are intellectual, somebody who have read and amassed all kinds of knowledge. That's one kind of people in the world. There's a second kind of people. They are very intelligent. They are people that will top their class. They might not be those kind of intellectual people who are now more like the professors who can dissect many things. No, now these guys are intelligent guys. When you put them in an organization, they can function well. You can give them assignments, they will deliver it to the teeth because they are very intelligent. They can think through the lines and be able to come up with some kind of problems for you. Very intelligent, good people. But the third kind of people you have in the world are people who have wisdom. And let me tell you something, whatever you do, wisdom is the principal thing. Now, among these three people, the people you see that become wealthy, if you analyze it properly in the world today, are people with wisdom. Not essentially people with intellectual. Not essentially people with intelligence. Intelligence is good. Being an intellectual is good. But when you are intelligent and you are an intellectual without wisdom, you are bound to remain poor. Because one of the major aspect of wealth that you need to pursue is the aspect of producing wealth by wisdom. All the wealth I have produced, 99.9% of the wealth that God has helped me to produce is through wisdom, not through intelligence, so to say, because I wasn't even one. Not through the intellect, because I'm not an intellectual, really, even though we are practically learning to become one. Now, wisdom is very important. Wisdom is very important. Now, but we can't just talk about wisdom without talking about wealth. There was a story in the Bible that talks about a particular city. This particular city had a challenge, very huge challenge. The problem was that a big king, a mighty king, came against the city, and that city, he had gone around to build all kinds of defense for his own city, and gone around to build things that will help him invade that city, and he was about to scatter that particular small city. But you know something? It's recorded that a man came and offered a wisdom that helped that particular city to come out of that challenge. That man saved that small city from destruction. But something happened. Nobody recognized the man. Why? Because there was a qualification about that man. He was a poor, wise man. Poor, wise man. It means he had wisdom, but could not use his wisdom to produce wealth. Let me take you deeper. When the Bible said that man is a poor, wise man, the word wise there is not actually the wisdom we're talking about. The word wise there is talking about intellect. It's talking about intelligence. That's the word wise there. He was intelligent. He had intellectual, prowess. He was able to solve problems, but never was able to build wealth with his intelligence. If you are listening to me today, you will need to come down from the dimension of solving problem as an intellectual or solving problem as an intelligent person to come into solving problem as a wisdom person. I need you to listen to what I'm saying and let your wisdom pipe become open right now. And I will share a few experiences with you. I wanted to build a house in my village, and my mom came to the house that we lived in Lagos and saw that the place was a very good place, nice house, and she was proud. But before she left, she called me and said that you are building very good house in Lagos. Have you forgotten that for many of us who are from the east, it's like that. Have you forgotten that you are from the east? Have you forgotten that charity begins at home? That you need to come and do something at home also. And I said, okay, no problem. I will think about it. I have a couple of houses in Lagos, really. But I thought, okay, maybe I need to do something in the village, really, because even when I traveled, because I renovated the one we have in the village, it wasn't really okay for me. So I decided to build a house. Now, I was thinking, that particular time, I was doing other projects that required some very huge funding. And I wasn't going to be able to raise the money would require some kind of effort to become like a constraint on on the project I was doing. So I started thinking. So one day I was in discussion with a particular man who was an agent who who was more like a land agent. So while he was discussing, I overheard him say that these people that want to sell the land, that they actually need cars. You can even get cars for them. And I had this GL 450 that I was driving then, and I wanted to sell the GL 450. And I put the car on sale then for, I think, for 7 million. Nobody was buying. For 6 million, nobody was buying. They were pricing for 5 million. When I asked them to bring money, they said the person that was ready wanted to pay 4.5. I got angry. I said, what kind of nonsense is that? I don't want. Get me back my car. I will keep using it until I can find a better buyer. But immediately I heard them and said that my wisdom pipe opened. My wisdom antenna stood up, that this is an opportunity. Wisdom helps you to see opportunity. Wisdom helps you to see opportunity. Wisdom helps you to see opportunity where other people are seeing problems. Wisdom helps you to see that. So immediately he mentioned it. I said, wow, I can connect you together. I said, okay, I have a car that I can give them. How many acres would you give me? And the man laughed. He said, it's not about acre. This one is not acre. It's one plot. I said, no, you can't give me one plot. What can you do best? He said, let me see the car. When I showed him the car, I said, the car is good. I can take the car. And he said, okay, you know what? I will give you 2 plots. I said, oh, no. Okay, give me 3. We're on it. We dragged it. Eventually, he gave me 2 plots of land. Now, those 2 plots of land, I sold one for 12 million. Yes, I said 12 million. One, 12 million. I sold the other for like 11 million. So in just one transaction, a car that I was to sell, the highest amount I wanted to sell the car was 7 million. I have now multiplied the money by wisdom to about 23 million. That was what I used to build the house in the village. Yes, I added other money because the house was over 30 million. Now, what am I saying in essence? Wisdom produced the house. It wasn't me. I am able to convert assets to something useful because I have wisdom. If you are here today listening to me, begin to analyze within yourself, what wisdom strategy do I need for my next level? Because it is wisdom you use to build wealth. Let's get down to it. If you have wisdom and you don't have wealth, your wealth is not complete. Sorry, your wisdom is not complete. It means what you are still operating is intelligence. Because wisdom is the principal thing. And in everything you get, it's expected that the first thing you should get is wisdom. Wisdom is said to be a defense. wisdom is said to be a defense. It means when you are defenseless, wisdom can defend you. Wisdom is said to be the access to wealth, because with wisdom, you can amass wealth. And I'm going somewhere. Every time you activate the dimension of wisdom, you have activated something very wonderful that can take you far. Every time you activate wisdom, you activated something wonderful that will take you far. And I want to let you know this. What is wisdom? For us who are Christians, we will say wisdom is doing what God said you should do. That is it. But to make it very practical, so that somebody will say, I don't hear God, how do I now operate in wisdom? Look at it. Wisdom is experience. Wisdom is experience. It means when you get to any place, when they are doing things, you want to know how do they make things happen. Wisdom is experience. A man who is always looking forward to learning new things, learning how things work, is a man of wisdom, because wisdom is experience. Number two, wisdom is leverage. A man who is always looking for how do I climb the ladder and get to the top without having to exert so much energy is a man of wisdom. A man who will always look for how do I use machine to achieve more than using my manual way of doing things to achieve more is wisdom. So wisdom is that thing that you expose your mind to that helps you to be able to achieve more rather than achieving less. Wisdom is the ability to think within your mind, your innermost thoughts, to stay within that innermost thoughts and be able to come up with ideas that can help you move forward in your life. And what are the wisdom dimensions that I have made use in my life? Number one is to understand that wealth is a mentality. It is wisdom to know that wealth is a mentality. I have been in transactions where I did not do anything. I only said something, and millions were paid into my account. Why? I carry a mentality that helps me to make valuable contributions. Wisdom, wealth is a mentality. For many of us here, the challenge is you don't have the wealth mentality. You are always thinking of how to just make money and spend money. That's not wealth mentality. Carrying a wealth mentality is you are always thinking of how to produce money, how to produce what people will consume. That is wealth mentality. So in trying to get wisdom for wealth, you must ensure that you have the mentality of wealth. I've always carried this mentality all my life. I am not as educated as many people think, but I have wisdom. Why? I carry wisdom mentality. I carry wealth mentality. As a young man, I reject food at my growing stage. Why? Because I've always had the mentality that I'm going to be wealthy. So I don't take nonsense. You don't force things on me. Why? Because of the wealth mentality. If you carry a wealth mentality, it will show in your conversation, in the way you talk. It will show in your courage, in the way you walk. It will show in the things you do. It will show in your day-to-day planning. It will show. You need to carry that wisdom, that wealth mentality. It's part of the wisdom dimension of your life. Carrying a wealth mentality, you can't do without it. What has brought us here today is wealth mentality. What will take us to where we want to get to is wealth mentality. Think in terms of wealth. And what is the wealth mentality? Wealth mentality is the mentality that keeps thinking of how to get something by giving something. You think of how to get something by giving something. That's a wealth mentality. A wealth mentality is a mentality that helps you to think of how to solve problems in order to gain value. I don't understand how people want to gain value and not solve problem. That is not the right mentality. So wealth mentality is that dimension of thinking where you are beginning to think in terms of problem solving. You are beginning to think in terms of exchanging of values. I used to ask a question that the rich and the poor, who gives them more? And they say the rich. I say, why? He said, because the rich has, that's why they give them more. It's a lie. It's not true. It is not because the rich have more, that's why they give more. No. It's because of the mentality that the rich carry, that the more I give, the more I will receive. The poor carry the mentality that the more I receive, that's the more I should give. No. The mentality is that the more you give, the more you will receive. Not the more you receive, the more you give. No. You know, they said to him who much is given, much is expected. No, that's not the dimension. It's to him that gives more will receive more. Now, there's a particular aspect of the Bible that says that he that has none, or he that has, more shall be given. That he that has none, even that which he has, shall be taken away from him. Whenever you carry this entitlement mentality that somebody owes you something, you are carrying a defeatist mentality. You are going to the place of defeat because you are always looking at entitlement. What will they give me? What will they give me? What will they give me? You should be thinking of what will I give? That is the wealth mentality. How do I give? Because when I give, I know that giving is an exchange of value. That's the mentality that I carry. That's what makes me wise. I'm always looking for what to give. I had a meeting yesterday, and in the meeting I was telling the people in the meeting that, look, our own position here is what to give. If we can give enough people, we can have enough resources back to us. If we can give enough people, I said all you need to do is to become a pipe through which the water is being transported. That all you need to do is to look for one place and be leaking. When you are leaking, water is going through you, but you are leaking. I told them about a particular pipe in my bathroom that is leaking. I said the reason why that pipe is leaking and that something can come out of it is because something is going through it. For many of us, we don't want things to go through us because if it goes through us, it goes to somebody else, and we don't want that. Become the pipe. Let me tell you something. It is better for you to be it's better to be used and be useful than to be unused and be useless. I'll say it again. It's better to be used and be useful than to be unused and remain useless. Because some of us say, yeah, they are using me. They are using me in my place of work. They are using me. Should they not use you? The reason why they are using you is because you are useful. If you are not useful, nobody uses on a useful thing. That's why they are using you. So you should prepare yourself to be used. That's why for us, the position we have taken is the position of giving. We keep giving because we carry a mentality of wealth. That's the wisdom dimension of life. Carry that mentality that I must give. I have never seen somebody who is always contributing to the success of others and remain unsuccessful. Many people who commit to the success of others, they become successful. That is the dimension that you must take. That's been my own dimension that makes it look like people who have read all the books, gone to all the universities, and they are not as successful as I am. Because why? People see the fact that they are going to school. You get an average graduate is looking for a job. The job is looking for what will they give me? How much will they pay me? That's the major point. That's the major attention. That's the major focus. For me, that's not the major focus. Anywhere I go, I'm looking for what do I learn? What do I give? What do I contribute? It is my contribution that determines what I get out of it. It's wisdom to do that. The next one is the mentality takes you to the place where you begin to make. You must become a producer. The reason why Africa is where it is today is because Africa is not a producer. Africa is said to be a third world nation because Africa is not a producer. It is wisdom to be productive. It is wisdom to always produce. And I ask you a question today. Where are your products? You say you don't have money. Can it be that it's because you don't have products? Can it be because you are not giving value at a particular level? Because It is what makes you wealthy. It is what makes you stand strong because you have products. Many years ago, we went to do a particular seminar, myself and Mr. Clement. And that seminar was in Ilorin. And we did that seminar, very successful seminar. We had a lot of people that attended. The people that paid, they were no more than maybe 4 or 5 that paid for the seminar. But they were a lot. They were a lot. Now, when our mentor came, one of the things he asked is that, I came here today all the way from Lagos, but I have products. I'm going to sell products today, but you organize the event, you don't have a product. The reason why you are where you are today, why you may not have made something out of your life, is because you are not productive. No product. Wealth is made. Wealth is made. For you to become wealthy, you have to become productive. It's part of the wisdom dimension of life. Become productive. Become productive. Become a maker. Even when the world was beginning, there was something that was said about God. They say in the beginning, God created. All my life, I have never been idle before. I've said it before, I have been out of job once or twice, but I have never been out of work in my life. I will always find something to do. No matter what happens, I will always find something to do. Become productive. Now go deeper by expanding your productivity. Expand your productivity. Look at that small thing you are doing. How can you do it in a bigger way? Look at that small thing that is in your hand. How can you expand it? How can you make it much more larger that people can patronize you? Wisdom is very important. It's wisdom to do that. Number 3, the wealth mentality is always looking for how to multiply things. It is wisdom to always think of how to multiply things. And I want to say this to you. Please listen. At no point should you spend the children of your money. I said so. The earliest money you should spend are the grandchildren of your money. And what do I mean by that? You are working in an organization, they are paying you 100,000. The easiest thing to do is to spend the 100,000, isn't it? But the wise thing to do is to put that 100,000 naira to work and let the 100,000 naira produce 20,000 naira. Now, the very, very wise thing to do is to get that 20,000 naira to produce another 20,000 naira. That is the one you should spend. I grew up with my mom then in the village. And my mom will always tell me something, that never eat your capital. She used to discuss with me. I was wondering why she was discussing those things with me. I was just a child, 8-year-old, 9-year-old. My mom was talking to me about capital. How that anything that happens, you must never touch your capital. It is wisdom to do that you should never touch your capital. Whatever happens, ensure that you have protection over your capital. Let me ask you a question listening to me today. Do you have capital? If something happened to your job today or happened to your business, can you have up to 6 months of living expense mop up somewhere? If you don't have that, that is an error. You need to rush out and go and begin to do something. So what am I saying in a sense? A wealth mentality is the mentality that seeks to multiply whatever is given to them. They look out for ways to multiply. People who you see they are wealthy today, it's not because they have one opportunity that opened to them most of the time. It's the fact that they are always looking at, how do I multiply what I have? How do I go from 100,000 naira to 300,000? How do I move from this level to a greater level? That is what they are always thinking of. That is what a wealth mentality does to you. You are always looking at how to multiply what you have. how to multiply what you have. The next one, wisdom that I want you to train is mentality, is how do you maintain what you have? Protect what you have. How do you guard against invasions? For many people who are here listening to me now, you do not have insurance. You don't have life insurance. The car you are driving, no insurance. Because these are wisdom things that people do. I was traveling one day and the policeman was trying to stop the driver who was driving the car, and the driver was not going to stop, and they broke my brake lights with their baton. They broke it. But I wasn't too concerned. Why was I not too concerned? I'm not the one that will repair it. It's an accident. The insurance company will take care of it. It's wisdom. How are you maintaining your wealth? How are you maintaining those little income that is coming your way? Do you have things that you have strategically put in place that is giving you an edge of, a guarantee of those wealth? Do you have investments that you have put in place that you can say, even if anything fails, this investment can be a protection? It is wisdom to do that. It is wisdom to do that. Why would you have a whole house you have built? There's no insurance. If something goes wrong, what will happen? It's wisdom to do that. My office complex is worth billions. If anything goes wrong, the insurance company pays. It is wisdom to do that. You maintain your wealth by insuring it, by planning well, by having an investment program. That is how you maintain it. It is wisdom to do that. The wealth, and this is where I'm going to spend most of my time. Someone who is developing a wealth mentality must be someone who looks out for people who have made it and model after them. If you ask me what brought me here, I will tell you it's modeling. See, in life, you are permitted to copy. Just copy right. Many of us, we are struggling with the things that are already available. You are trying to reinvent a wheel while somebody has actually written one. You are trying to come up with an idea and you are struggling to come up with the idea. But there's somebody somewhere who have already finished the idea. I'm going to give you a strategy now. Whatever you are doing, whichever sector you are, go and research the top 5 in that your sector and begin to look at the things they have done. Just do the same. In some cases, you don't even need to modify it. Just do exactly the same. In some cases, you might need to modify it so that you can own it, can be original to you. But see, rather than always looking for new idea, I'm racking my brain. Go and look for how somebody has done it and model the person. To get into real estate, all we needed to do was model go through an existing model. Somebody has done it. We carried the exact model and replicated it. And today we are here. I know you have to look at your strength and look at the opportunities you have, look at the threats that are around you, look at all the weaknesses around you to be able to know what exactly to do. That's SWOT analysis, isn't it? That you don't die, you should not be inside water and die of thirst. Because why would you be inside water and die of thirst? Or you are inside the water and soap enters your eyes and you cannot take the water and wash it. Let me tell you something. What you are looking for is already available. Just look very well. Model after somebody. You want to create wealth? Model after somebody. Get someone that anything he does, you go and do the same. There are many real estate companies that have come out of us that we have more like giving birth to. What they just do is to look at what we are doing and they do the same. Yes, in some cases you might need to modify it because you didn't know how I got that idea really. But what you need to do is to model. It is wisdom to model. Why do you want to go and start struggling when you can model? One of the wisdom things I have done, one of the wisdom strategy I have put in place in my life is modeling after people who have made it. Looking at the life of people and copying things and pasting it almost exactly the same way. Doing a little modification in one of the things that I've learned and push it. And we are going. It's not everything you see me do that came out of my reasoning. Some of them I saw it somewhere, I took it and I applied it. So when we're talking about wisdom to create wealth, you are looking at how some people are very proud. When you are a person of wisdom, one of the first things that will see in you will be humility. You are humble to the core. You are humble to learn. You are always willing to learn, always willing to subject yourself. And I'm going to close with this. If you read the scriptures, there was something that was said. He said, go to the ants, you sluggard, and learn of his ways. He said, those ants, they don't have leader. They go in bounds. And yet, they provide their food even in the midst of crisis. Why? Because they are able to subject themselves to a process. But the insulting part of it is that why should I go to an ant to learn? Why should you be referring me? If I tell any one of you who are listening to me right now, I say go to your dog at home and go and learn, it will sound like an insult. Not to talk of telling you to go to an ant to go and learn. Now, anyone that can subject himself to an ant to learn is someone who is wise. If you don't have wisdom, you will not be able to consider that as part of the things you want to do. So go to the ant to learn is telling you be humble. Be humble. Take up humility. Go and learn what you need to learn. One of my sisters came to me one day and was complaining about her uncle who had refused to help her because of one particular thing or the other. And the guy is even insulting her whenever the guy wants to help her. I say, when I look around you, I don't see the insults. The insult did not plaster on your body. I say, you better subject yourself and calm down. You need to be calming down. That's that boy. You need to be calming down. You calm down and learn. Calm down. Take the insult and take the solution. When you now become who you want to become, the insult will not plaster on your body. Somebody saying they are insulting me. That's why I cannot be in that environment because they insulted me. Is that environment going to be beneficial to you? If it's going to be beneficial to you, subject yourself to that insult. Take all the insults. Tell them to insult you times 2. Learn what you need to learn and move forward. Because the reason why he said you should go to the ant and go and learn is humility. Go and humble yourself. Learn from people who have done something you want to do. Learn from people who have done it right. Go and become an apprentice. You are too intelligent. That's why you can't be an apprentice. You feel you are more intelligent than the person who have made it. Let me tell you, the place of intelligence is the place of productivity, not the place of the fact that you have intellect. You can speak English. English is not the qualification for intelligence. The fact that you can go and check, most of the billionaires in China, they cannot speak good English. But yet they are very rich. Why? They learn how things work. They produce for Apple, but they can't speak English. You don't produce for banana. You don't even produce for guava, and you can speak all the English in the world. Better go and subject yourself to somebody who cannot speak English and learn of their ways. There are people today that you feel that you are more intelligent than, but they have made something more formidable than what you have made. You better go and subject yourself with all your English and all your Cambridge that you went to. Go and subject yourself and learn. When you finish learning, they will not plaster into your body that you went to learn from somebody who cannot speak English. You will come back and you make things happen. This is the few wisdom that we have used to create some of the wealth that you have seen today. And I think within the time that I have, I think this is the much that I can do. Thank you very much.
Wow. My note is full, and then I'm so excited. I believe that everybody listening to us right now is also deriving as much value as I am deriving here. This is phenomenal. I tell you the truth. This is phenomenal. I've never told Mr. Wisdom this before, but I remember. So if you said that when you were in the village, some people never believed that you would ever make it. Even when I saw you in Lagos almost 20 years ago, some of the people who saw me close to you didn't believe. I knew people who snubbed you, and I could see it. I saw it, koro. I knew them, and I'm very, very delighted. I'm very, very glad. Ever knowing you, those days it started with questions. You always ask questions.
That's part of the wisdom.
It's part of the wisdom. You still ask questions till tomorrow. Hey, that's something. Is it? I hope it's not too expensive. He wants to ask you how much is it, rather than ask you how much is it. Hope it's not too expensive. You know, this is really, really, really huge. This is really, really huge. So wisdom can give us what even school, what intellect cannot deliver to us. This is phenomenal. If you have any questions for Mr. Wisdom before we release him, I want to take all your questions. I'm really, really proud of what God has done in your life. Very, very proud of it. Very, very proud to be associated with you. I'm really, really glad. You know that I love you very much, so I don't need to be
our love is strong.
Yeah, so I'm so excited about what we've shared today. I believe everybody has drawn value. If you have any questions, please throw your questions here now so that I can begin to share them. Okay. If you want Mr. Wisdom to come again, let us know. If you want Mr. Wisdom to come again, let's know. If you want us to bring him again, let me know, because I know you have derived value. You know, because I'm not seeing any question yet. Let me say this. You know that quite unfortunately, our higher school of learning has done more demerits to a lot of people. It has taken away reasoning capacity, ability to analyze. That's taken it away from people. So when people go through school, one of the things that happen to them while they are in school is that they read to pass an exam. They read principally to pass an exam. In fact, those who have demonstrated some degree of creativity usually don't fit into class. People who have demonstrated high-level problem-solving capacity usually don't feel comfortable in classroom setting. They feel it's a waste of their time. They feel it's a waste of, and all of those things. But even those who decide that, well, let me even give the teacher or the lecturer a bit of my own creativity. One of the things we get from lecturers is that, give it to me the way I gave it to you. More or less regurgitate. Give me what I taught you, not what you think. And so that has made a lot of people not to reason. And quite unfortunately, a lot of people, a lot of graduates, I mean, we got lots of them who we don't even qualify to even employ. And to buttress what you have said, some of the people that we have ended up employing are not often, most of the time, they are not even as qualified as some of the people we don't take. Because some people, even though they went through school, they also access the same wisdom. So there's nothing wrong in going to school. We're not saying people should not go to school, but what we have learned today is that, add to your schooling wisdom. Add to your intelligence wisdom. Add to your intellect wisdom. Wow, this is phenomenal.
Just to say something.
Yes, sir.
A wise person, when it gets to the midst of a wise person who is going to school, in the midst of those students that are around him, he'll start looking at spotting the very intelligent ones. The reason why he's spotting the intelligent one is because He wants to employ them. Can I tell you something? Most intelligent people work for wise people. Most intelligent people, they work for wise people. So there's nothing wrong in being intelligent. But the thing is that you will end up working with a wise person. And if you are with a wise person, you better learn wisdom so that you can replicate being wise. Many people who are in the world today who speak good English, they are just intelligent. They are not wise. Because if I get to a school and I see people who can solve mathematics very well, so yeah, for this guy to solve mathematics means if I give him a problem in this organization, he will solve it. I'll look out for that guy and I will employ him. I saw another person who can write good English. It means anytime I want to write anything, he can help me write it. One day, Henry Ford had an attack. Somebody attacked him that he could not
press people.
Press people. I said, look, I know everything. He said, no, you don't know. He said, I know everything. It's okay. What is this? What is that? He said, no, that's this guy's department. I call him. Come and answer this question. I said, no, we're talking about you. He said, I pay this guy's salary. So if I pay his salary, it means whatever he knows, I know it. That's wisdom. Wisdom is also the ability of amassing resources together. The ability to pool resources together. Human resources, financial resources, different kind of resources together is wisdom. Why do you just go in the line of struggle when there are people who are already prepared to help you solve problems? Just go and spot them, bring them together, and you solve problem. And that dimension of wisdom that I didn't talk about is risk taking. Many people think it's foolishness to take high risk, but we that have taken risks in time past will know that it's strength. It is wisdom to take risk, because you know something. When you take risk and you hang, people of intelligence, they come to help you to succeed. They will come and help you. You see this man as hey, what do we do? Let's help him. And while they are helping you, you are succeeding. So it is just better to be wise. Position yourself. Wisdom is positioning too. Many people are working in an organization, they are not well positioned. You are doing something they don't know. Let me tell you something. There are two kinds of eye service. There's the positive eye service, there's the negative eye service. It's wisdom, learn it. What is the negative eye service? Negative eye service is that you are in a place, you are not doing anything. You now see your boss coming, you now rush and start doing something. That's negative eye service. You are not actually working. But positive eye service is you are in a place, you are working, immediately you see your boss, you rush and start doing it well. And while your boss is passing, you are greeting him. Yes, sir. Well done, sir. I just completed 10 files now, remaining 15 to go. Well done, sir. Well done, sir. Just to get his attention to the fact that you are doing something. You are always constantly reporting what you are doing. That this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. That's positive eye service. You may say eye service is not good, but me, I'm saying there's a negative one and there's a positive one. It means you are drawing attention to yourself, because you know the more you are visible in an organization, the more that you can be promoted. So it's wisdom to work. When some people say they are not being promoted, they're not being promoted. You are not operating in wisdom. Somebody went to her boss. Two of them were working in the same department. They promoted one, they did not promote the other. And she went to her boss. Her boss said, can you see now we have promoted this guy? You are not being promoted because you have not been performing. And he said, promotion comes from above, not from abroad. What a foolish statement.
Yeah.
When you are supposed to position yourself, you are not positioning yourself. You say promotion comes from above. Okay, wait for promotion to come and meet you at home.
Wow. Interestingly, what you just described now, you just made it more practical. I shared with them about positive eye service, negative eye service just yesterday, and I didn't realize you are going to even talk about it. So fantastic. I'm very glad that you mentioned this. So Bukola already has a question, but before I take our question, let me just quickly touch on some of the things. Sawizi, I call him Sawizi. For those of you who don't know, so you call him Wisdom Ezekiel, but me, I call him Sawizi because he's a whiz kid, he's a whiz man, he's a wise man. All right. So he said to us that wisdom is experience. He said wisdom is leverage. He said wisdom is the ability to think in your innermost thoughts, to come up with solutions to critical problems. Then we began to look at wisdom for wealth. I just want to do a quick recap before I take your questions. Then number one, he said wisdom is a mentality, and there were many, many things he said around that issue of mentality. A mentality that's concerned with producing what people will consume. And it shows in your carriage, it shows in your language. He said a wealth mentality is constantly thinking of how to give something in order to get something back in return. And then he said, number two, it is wisdom to be productive. I love that part. And I love the example he cited. He said, Africa is a third world nation today because we are a consumer continent. We are not producing. Number three, he said, wealth mentality is always thinking of how to multiply things. I love the part you said, never eat your capital, never eat your capital, never eat your capital. In my book, Rewrite Your Financial Story, I wrote there, never, how did I put it there? Share your
oil.
Share your light.
Share your
Never
light.
share your oil.
Never share your oil.
Never share your oil. Yeah, yeah. So that's the way it is. Then you mentioned that you must look out for people who have made it and model after them. That it is wisdom to do that. And then I love your example of the ant. The book of Proverbs in the Bible says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, and learn," and all of that. It takes humility to even submit for apprenticeship. And thankfully, you have been an apprentice. You learn how
all
to
my
sell.
life. All my life. So, I'm still an apprentice even now.
Abi, even me too. We are all being used, you know. And that's how we're getting more useful. And I'm very, very excited about this. So modeling, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing you are trying to do that somebody else has not done and conquered. Why do you want to have to reinvent? And then sometimes you just copy and paste. Just make sure you copyright. Fantastic one there. It is wisdom to take risks. Those are the recent one I just mentioned. And then wisdom is also positioning. Fantastic, fantabulous, like Macaroni would say. All right, so Bukola is asking this question. Say, at what point in your life did you decide that you must just make it? What really pushed you to act? That's the question.
Okay, I think my for many people who know me, this has been consistent with me. From inception, my vision has been to make money. That sounds weird, isn't it? That has been my vision. I wanted to become wealthy. But at the point where that vision became a reality was when I decided that to become wealthy, I will need to make others wealthy. That was the point where everything shifted. All the businesses that I now run is structured to make others wealthy. Anytime you focus on that, things will always change for you. That was the wisdom that God downloaded to us, that you cannot raise 100 millionaires and remain a thousandaire. So at the point where things changed, even then, we have not started making the physical money, but we knew we were on the right journey because we're now looking out for other people. It is not about what you get, it's about what you give. What you give ultimately comes back to you in multiple folds. So, people don't know how to take risk. That's why they don't give as much. If you take risk, you will know that every time you give, what comes back to you is not the same. It's like you plant maize. You planted one. But when it came back to you, it can come back in hundreds, in thousands. So it's wisdom to do that. So at the point where it became very clear to me that, see, this is it, is when I decided that my vision is no longer to just become wealthy, but to make other people wealthy. That's the point where things turned around for me. It's a lot of sacrifice to do that, but really, it might be slow, really, to do that. You might struggle to do that, but that's the best way to go in life.
Interesting. So many of you now may see that there's a lot of similarity, right? That's actually my assignment on Earth. That's my commission. Fantastic. All right. So Rapu Uche is asking this question. Say thank you for the impact, especially in following already made model. Then my question is, can you highlight 5 instruments you used in multiplying your investment during your building days? Can you highlight 5 instruments you used in multiplying your investment during your building days?
I use screwdriver. I use plier. I use hammer. Okay, now when you talk about instrument, I think I understand what he's trying to say. Firstly, is vision. You can never get it wrong when you have the right vision. Vision is one major instrument. It's something that keeps you going when things are not going. Vision keeps you going when things are not going. Things are not working, but you stay put in that vision. Number 2, I can say that one is very important, is mentorship. These days, people don't know how to submit to mentorship. They believe that mentorship is when somebody come and spoon feed you. A young lady told me one time that she has approached a lot of mentors. They don't even have time for her. I said, they don't have time for you? Hey, sorry, Kwele. I said, why don't you just stay on your own? Leave mentors alone then. Why do you need them? You see, they don't have time for you. Can I submit to you? Your mentors will never have time for you. You will have time for them. Yes. I went to visit one of my mentors the other day. I spent almost 2 hours, 30 minutes waiting for him. I have time for him. I'm looking for something. So the next one was mentorship. It's not in a particular order, really. The next one is the time that we invested in learning, the books we read. We're doing competition in reading. Mr. Clement can bear witness. We're doing reading competition. Have you read this one? Have you read that one? So you don't want to come into that conversation where you say, have you read it? So you say, I have not read it. So we're always looking for things to read. No wonder today we have a very healthy library. That's, it's one of our major assets in life. Is reading. Have you seen a leader? Look out around him. You see things that he reads, whether negative or positive. If you want to be a very good leader, whether negative or positive, keep reading. If you want to be a bad leader, read bad books. Read enough bad books, you become a bad leader. Correct bad leader, you become Hitler. It was a book the guy read too.
Absolutely.
And started doing what he's doing. Hey, it's a book.
Yeah.
You read. So spend time to study, spend time to read. Another thing is the instrument of people. Understanding people management, how to ensure that you treat people the right way and get people to be part of your vision is part of the major instrument. I was telling them today in a particular training I just finished now. I told them, I said, the most important resource in business is human resource. That's the most important resource. If you have a business where you don't value the people, but you value the money you are making more than the people, then there's a problem. There's a problem somewhere. So human resource. Have I said up to 5?
No, you have said 4.
4, okay. There are many. Network. Your network. It has been said that your network determines your net worth, or your network determines your network, as the case may be. So your networking is major, and there are a couple of people that I've networked with, and that was the beginning of things changing for us. A network can deliver to you what hard work cannot deliver. Just a network. Somebody said one day that sometimes it's more who you know is more important than what you know. Who you know sometimes can just open a door that all that you know can never open. So those are, if you have talked 5, except if you pay more, I can talk like 20.
Wow, fantastic. I don't know if there's any more question. This is rich. This is very, very rich. Very, very rich and very practical too.
Thank you,
Any
sir.
more question? Any more question? Any more question before we release Mr. Wisdom? He's a very busy man, so I don't want to keep him longer than necessary. So
it is well, sir. I'm at your service, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate. Somebody is saying that we'll so much appreciate to have him more and more again. So that's someone saying that here. Okay, so certainly we'll still have to bring you back again and look at other dimensions. Some of the keys, some of the instruments you just mentioned. Now we need to pick one and say, yeah, come and dissect it practically. Because really, success, wealth is as simple as ABC, but it's when you are starting the journey, like it looks like a mystery. And then somebody said that they made it a mystery. It's part of the conspiracy of the rich to make it mystical, so that a lot of people would have difficulty being able to get wealthy. And so thank you so much for this amazing.
It's more like politics.
Yes.
The game is so dirty that you think is really, really dirty. But you need to get into the game to discover that it's not that dirty. They painted it to be dirty. Let me just say this in closing.
Yeah, please, feel free.
Somebody will need to go home with this. Don't forget that the rich will always rule over the poor. Don't forget that. So in all you do in life, even if you are not wealthy today, be on the journey of wealth. The borrower will always be servant to the lender. Whatever you do, get yourself to the point where you are the lender, not the borrower. Always look for the place of advantage in life and stay there. People who are in the place of advantage, they don't pursue people, people pursue them. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Wow. Naga, this is serious. This is heavy. This is heavy. Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. Thank you so much, Sir Wizzy. We deeply appreciate you. I'll call you later and then we'll have some other gists.
No problem, sir.
So thank you so much. I appreciate this moment. Thank you so much. All right.
Regards, everybody. Thank you. God bless you for having me.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So everybody, let's celebrate Mr. Wisdom Ezekiel for joining us today. Let's put our hands together wherever you may be watching from. Just put your hands together and then let's say au revoir and all of that. Okay, so what we will do now is we'll move for our hangout session on Zoom and then we'll wrap up. For those of you who are members of the tribe, you join us. For those of you who are just joining right now also, it would be nice to join us. For those of you who started yesterday, I'm sure that you still have something to say, right? And I want us to have some key engagements. So please, let's meet in Zoom. The Zoom link will be shared with us. I think that same Zoom link we used yesterday is still very much relevant. So please, let's meet in Zoom in the room right about now. So see ya in Zoom. Bye for now. Oh, we have a different